A decorated police officer becomes a fugitive killer. A nationwide manhunt captivates and, well, really divides an entire country. Let's break down the dramatic, incredibly complex case of Caroline Kingogo.
So this is the question that had everyone stumped, right? From investigators to the general public. How does a respected corporal, a trained sharpshooter no less, become the most wanted person in the nation? To really get it, we've got to go back to the very beginning.
You see, this whole thing doesn't start with a high-speed chase. It starts with a really grim discovery inside a police compound, of all places. And that's what kicked off an investigation that would just spiral into something nobody saw coming. Okay, so picture this. It's the morning of July 5th. An officer spots a car, engine still running. Weird, right? He looks inside and finds Police Constable John Ogweno, shot dead. Now, the crime scene has the usual stuff, cartridge, a few other items, but two things immediately jump out. Ogweno's service pistol is gone, and another officer's phone has been left behind. That one clue, that phone, instantly changed everything. This wasn't just a random murder. This was personal.
So, with her phone right there at the scene, all eyes immediately turned to Corporal Caroline Kingogo. It didn't take long for other officers to confirm they were in a relationship. Investigators even found some of Ogweno's clothes at her house. But Kingogo herself? She was gone, vanished. Just as the police were trying to figure out what happened in that first murder, the whole case just took this terrifying turn. It became clear this wasn't about just one victim anymore. The very next day, hours away in a different town, hotel staff find the body of another man, Peter Ndwiga. And the scene is just chillingly similar. A single bullet wound to the head. Suddenly, a pattern is starting to emerge. And this is where it all clicks into place. The connections become undeniable. You've got two men in two different towns, both killed by a gunshot. And the one link between them? Caroline Kingogo. Her phone tied her to Ogweno's murder, and clear CCTV footage put her with Ndwiga just hours before he was found dead. What's so wild here is how methodical she was. After allegedly killing Ogweno, her movements are tracked for hours. She drives 4 hours, stops for lunch, and then calmly checks into another hotel with her next victim. She's even using her own bank card, leaving this easy-to-follow digital trail. And then at midnight, the CCTV cameras catch her walking out, alone. So now, with 2 bodies in 2 days, the police launch a massive nationwide manhunt. But what happened next was totally unexpected. The story just exploded, and this fugitive officer became a national obsession. The official story from the police was clear, and it was urgent. They painted this picture of her as highly trained, armed, and extremely dangerous, a killer on a mission to eliminate former lovers. They put out warnings telling the public, especially men, to be on high alert. But then you look at social media, and a completely different story starts to take shape. A whole lot of people, especially women, started seeing her not as a killer, but as some kind of vigilante. Comments just like this one, calling her a lioness, started popping up everywhere. And over those 10 days, the whole country just became completely split down the middle. On one side, you had the police warning everyone about this skilled sharpshooter. On the other, you had the Law Society already offering to represent her in court. Her own father was on TV begging her to surrender, while at the same time, this huge online fan base was cheering her on. And the tension was just through the roof, especially with rumors swirling that she was hunting for a third target. So, after 10 days on the run, dodging every police trap and dominating every headline, the manhunt came to this sudden and really controversial end. And get this, she wasn't found in some remote hideout or in another city. She was found right back where she started, at her parents' home. The police quickly announced she had taken her own life. But for a lot of people, this conclusion just raised way more questions than it answered. So was it really suicide, or was something else going on? The police stuck to their official ruling, but you had prominent people, like the head of the Law Society, publicly hinting at a cover-up. A huge detail was that the family and neighbors never heard a gunshot, which fueled a ton of suspicion. And while the autopsy did confirm the cause of death, it couldn't say for sure who actually pulled the trigger, so the debate was far from over. Just when it felt like the story was over, another piece of the puzzle emerged. A message, supposedly written by Kingogo herself, that seemed to offer a window into her mind. Now, at first, the police denied any note even existed, but then a screenshot leaked online. It was reportedly saved in the drafts folder of a basic phone found with her body, and in it, she seems to lay it all out.
She points the finger directly at her failed marriage as the root of all her pain, blaming her husband for years of abuse and depression. She even admits that she had planned to kill him too, but couldn't bring herself to do it because of their children.
But what's so confusing is how she talks about her first victim, John Ogweno. She never actually explains why she killed him. Instead, she calls him the love of her life and talks about forgiveness. It just adds this really complicated, messy layer to her motives.
When it came to her second victim, though, her motive was crystal clear. And it all came down to a number: 1.5 million shillings.
Yeah, her message about Peter Ndwiga is totally different. There's no remorse here, just pure justification. She claims he conned her out of a huge amount of money she'd borrowed from her father's retirement fund of all things, and then just arrogantly told her to get lost. In her mind, this was simply revenge.
And then she leaves this final, haunting request for her burial. She asks to be buried in a wedding gown, directly tying her own death back to the marriage that she felt had destroyed her. It's a final, symbolic act that kind of ties it all together. So, in the end, we're left with this question. Was she a cold, calculated killer who carefully plotted her revenge? Or was she a tragic victim of depression and abuse, pushed over the edge by the men in her life and maybe a system that failed her? The note gives us her side of the story, but the full truth? That might have been buried with her.